Have you heard about leather worth more than gold by weight? Not cowhide. Not ostrich. This one comes off the belly of a giant reptile that rules tropical rivers. The saltwater crocodile. The pattern looks sleek. The surface feels tough and smooth. Luxury brands chase it. A single hide can fund a small business. But the shine you see in a boutique hides a long road through heat, mud, buzzing swamps, and rooms full of humming incubators. It starts with a helicopter over floodplains in Australia's Northern Territory. It moves through labs that act like nurseries. It ends in fashion houses in Paris and Tokyo. Supporters call this a model where wildlife pays for its own protection. Critics call it a system that turns life into status. So what really happens between an egg in a nest and a bag on a shelf? Stay with me. Welcome back to Agriculture Works. We tell the real story behind what people wear, eat, and use every day. Hit like and subscribe if you want honest looks behind the glass. Now let's go inside crocodile farming. We begin in the top end of Australia, the heartland of saltwater crocodiles. The season runs with the rains. During the wet months, licensed teams can collect eggs under strict permits. The nests sit near water on muddy banks. Each one can hold 30 to 50 eggs. Getting there is hard. Crews ride by boat or helicopter, then push through swamp and tall grass. A mother crocodile guards that nest with force. One wrong step can end a day fast. Staff move slow and stay alert. Each egg must hold the same angle as in the nest so the tiny life inside does not die. The goal is zero damage and zero waste. This work fits a national model called sustainable use. In simple words, keep the adults safe, value the eggs, and give local people a reason to protect their habitat. Farms pay fees and royalties. Indigenous land groups in places like Arnhem Landwork as key partners. That money rewards care for wetlands. It also shifts pressure off wild hunting and turns poachers into helpers. When a living animal has value, the land that holds it gains value as well. The numbers show why many call it a win. In the 1970s, heavy hunting pushed saltwater crocodiles to the edge in the Northern Territory. Counts sat in the low thousands. Today, the same region holds well over 100,000. Each year, quotas allow tens of thousands of wild-laid eggs to enter hatcheries. A share of young crocs goes back into the wild. That helps spread genes and keeps the system stable. Jobs grow around it. Export money flows back to remote towns. The country builds a name as a leader in both conservation and fine exotic leather. After collection, the eggs move fast. Crews fly or truck them into biosecure hatcheries. Think of a clean hospital for wildlife. Each egg sits in an incubator with tight control of heat and moisture. Temperatures sit in a band around the low 30s Celsius. That does more than support life. Heat also shapes sex. Near a narrow point around 31.6 degrees, more males appear. Slightly above or below, more females hatch. Farms tune settings based on supply goals. Staff check moisture every day. Mold, collapse, or signs of death lead to quick removal. In the wild, less than a quarter of eggs may hatch. In these rooms, success can reach the high 80s or better. That gives a steady pipeline for farms and reduces pressure on wild nests in later years. Hatchlings break out at around 2 to 3 months. Each one weighs about 100 grams. Staff shift them at once into warm rearing tanks. The design tries to remove stress. Smooth walls cut down on skin scrapes. Filters keep the water clean. Heat stays stable. Light cycles match healthy rhythms. For the first weeks, the diet looks like a fine paste made of chicken, fish, or beef with vitamins and minerals. Every choice points at one key outcome later on: flawless skin. A bite mark or a scar can cut the value of a hide by half. So farms watch behavior and spacing. Any sign of crowd stress leads to a quick move. Teams log weight, growth, and feed use. Vets run routine checks. Parasite control and vaccines follow set plans. Size classes stay separate to avoid fights and cannibal behavior. Water temperature sits in the low 30s. Filtration runs non-stop. Tanks get regular cleaning. As the group grows, feeding shifts too. Very young crocs eat daily. Older juveniles eat 2 or 3 times a week. Many sites use semi-automated feed systems. That reduces waste and keeps portions exact. The result is steady growth and smooth scales without blemish. Drop a quick comment. Have you ever visited a crocodile farm in person? Type 1 if yes. Type 2 if you want that tour one day. After 4 or 5 years, the animals reach harvest size. Most measure between 2.2 and 2.6 meters. The next stage takes place in approved processing sites with strict welfare and food safety rules. Staff first immobilize the animal in a humane way. That lowers stress and protects the skin. Then trained workers remove the hide with careful cuts. The belly section holds the highest value. The pattern there looks even and flat. Any scratch or scar can push a first-grade hide down a class. That small flaw can remove thousands of dollars in value. Skins don't head straight to fashion houses. First, they enter climate-controlled rooms where the temperature and humidity stay precise. Workers spread salt across each hide, a step that pulls out moisture and stabilizes the skin for short storage. This stage is critical. Even a small lapse in control can leave marks or weaken the fibers, cutting value. After salting, many hides travel to world-class tanneries in Italy and France. These facilities specialize in transforming raw crocodile hide into supple, durable leather that luxury brands prize for handbags, belts, and shoes. The tanning process can take weeks, moving through soaking, dyeing, and finishing stages until the surface shines with consistent texture and deep color. In strong market years, a single premium hide can fetch 5 figures in Australian dollars. That price depends on a range of factors: the size of the animal, the grade of the scales, and the demand cycle in global fashion. When luxury houses launch new product lines, the highest quality hides become even more competitive, and buyers often bid fiercely to secure supply. Traders watch fashion calendars the way farmers watch weather forecasts, because a new handbag collection in Paris or Milan can ripple all the way back to farms in the top end. For those managing crocodiles, this link between remote wetlands and runways half a world away is both opportunity and pressure, a reminder that every detail of rearing and harvest affects the final market price. Thanks for staying with us through this deep dive. If you learned something new, give this video a like and share it so others can see the real story behind the headlines. And don't forget to subscribe with the bell on. More fact-driven looks inside hidden industries are coming soon. See you in the next one. Have you ever seen a bird so breathtaking that entire kingdoms once fought to own it? A bird that dazzled kings, inspired gods, and still leaves millions speechless today. I'm talking about the peacock. But here's the twist. This stunning creature is no longer only a symbol of palaces or myth. Today, it's at the heart of a farming revolution worth millions of dollars. Behind every flash of color and every shimmering feather lies an entire industry: breeding, tourism, fashion, and global trade. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how farmers are transforming these living jewels into a sustainable business model that merges culture, conservation, and commerce. Stick with me, because what you're about to learn will change the way you see this bird forever. From royal courts in Europe to wide open fields in China's Yunnan province, the peacock's journey has been long and surprising. Once treated as a walking ornament, today it's raised on farms where heritage meets technology. These farms don't just produce feathers, they generate jobs, wealth, and a steady stream of opportunities that reach far beyond the bird itself. And while it may sound unusual, peacock farming is one of the most fascinating transformations happening in agriculture today. The bird we know as the peacock actually belongs to the species called peafowl. Their origins trace back to South Asia, with thriving populations in India, Sri Lanka, and nearby regions. Over centuries, people carried them to Europe, China, and other parts of the world, where they became status symbols and ornamental treasures. Among them, the Indian blue peacock stands out as the most famous. Those deep sapphire feathers decorated with hypnotic eye-spot patterns are instantly recognizable. Crossbreeding with the Japanese green peacock gave rise to the Spalding variety, which is larger, stronger, and resilient in different climates. And then there are the rarities, white or multicolored peacocks. These are not mythical. They're genetic variations that collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for. But this bird is more than beautiful. Across cultures, the peacock carries layers of meaning. In India, it's the national bird and sacred to both Krishna and Saraswati. In China, it represents nobility and prosperity. The Greeks saw it as a mark of majesty and power. With feathers shimmering like gemstones, it has always been tied to ideals of grace, strength, and eternal beauty. And that symbolism plays a huge role in why it remains commercially valuable even today. For farming, though, beauty isn't enough. These birds need proper housing and care to thrive. Each adult requires plenty of space, around 100 square feet or more. This isn't a luxury. It's essential for them to walk, forage, and perform the famous courtship displays. Farmers build enclosures with strong fences 6 or 7 feet tall, not only to keep predators out but also to prevent escape. Inside, natural cover like shrubs and small trees is added, recreating the feel of the wild and keeping the birds stress-free. They even build wooden perches so that peacocks can roost high off the ground at night, just as they would in nature. In colder areas, extra care is taken. Farmers might install heated perches or insulated flooring to protect delicate feet from frost. Ventilation is another key. Too much dampness invites disease, while direct drafts can cause respiratory infections. Cleanliness is critical, too. Daily removal of droppings, food scraps, and feathers keeps the enclosures healthy, while weekly deep cleaning ensures disease doesn't spread. The truth is, hygiene is not optional. It's the foundation of a successful farm. And this brings up an interesting question. Do peacocks really need such large spaces, or is it possible to farm them in smaller areas? Farmers argue that space is tied directly to health and feather quality, which in turn affects market value. After all, a bird with dull or damaged feathers won't command the same price as one in perfect condition. Their diet plays an equally important role. Peacocks are omnivores, and their meals directly influence the brilliance of their plumage. An adult bird eats about 200 to 300 grams of food daily, a mix of grains like rice and corn, vegetables such as spinach and carrots, and protein sources including fish meal, worms, or insects. During the breeding season, the protein levels go up to increase fertility and improve hatch rates. For chicks, the diet starts with finely ground feed, often mixed with boiled eggs or soft greens, gradually transitioning to grains and live insects to build natural foraging instincts. Fresh water, of course, is non-negotiable, changed daily to avoid contamination. Farmers don't stop at feeding. They watch feather condition, body weight, and even behavior for early signs of illness. Vaccinations, deworming, and mineral supplements are part of the regular schedule. When everything is balanced, the results show healthy birds with vibrant feathers that attract both tourists and buyers across the globe. When the breeding season arrives, the farm turns into a stage. From March through August, males open their enormous trains like jeweled fans, shimmering in the sunlight as they vibrate their feathers to create flashes of color and sound. These displays aren't just for beauty, they're the male's way of convincing females that he's the strongest and healthiest option. A longer tail, brighter eye spots, and a lively courtship dance are signals that he carries good genes. The females, careful and selective, choose their mates based on these traits, ensuring that the next generation is as strong and striking as possible. After mating, a single peahen can lay between 20 and 30 eggs in a season, sometimes even reaching 40 with proper nutrition and conditions. She builds shallow nests hidden in tall grass or bushes, keeping them camouflaged from predators. Incubation lasts almost a month, during which the mother rarely strays far, guarding and warming the eggs. When the chicks hatch, they are covered in soft yellow-brown down, blending perfectly into their surroundings. Within just a few months, they begin showing their first hints of blue feathers, and by the age of 2, they're full-grown adults. Males, however, take nearly 3 years to develop the full grandeur of their train, which is why patience is such a vital part of peacock farming. With good care, these birds can live up to 30 to 35 years, making them a long-term commitment as well as a long-term investment. That investment is paying off in surprising ways. In countries like the United States, a young bird sells for anywhere from $200 to $500. Once fully grown, the price can climb to $1,500 or even $2,000 for a healthy adult. And if the bird happens to be rare, say a white or multicolored peacock, the value skyrockets. Pairs of these genetic marvels have been sold for as much as $8,000 to $10,000. In China, large farms located in provinces like Yunnan and Guangxi are generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue every year, exporting birds across Asia and the Middle East. But the money doesn't stop with live sales. Each adult peacock naturally sheds between 150 and 200 feathers every year, and none of them go to waste. Those feathers, sold for $5 to $20 each, feed the fashion industry, interior design, and the craft market. On top of that, some farms rent their birds out for weddings, cultural events, or photo shoots, charging anywhere from $30 to $1,000 per occasion. Tourism is another major stream. Eco-parks and sanctuaries that showcase peacocks in carefully designed landscapes draw thousands of visitors annually. For many farms, The combination of ticket sales, rentals, and feather exports creates steady income that transforms what used to be a hobby into a serious agribusiness. Still, no business is without challenges. Disease is a constant threat. Peafowl may look strong, but they are vulnerable to respiratory infections, digestive problems, and parasites when their living spaces aren't properly maintained. Farmers spend heavily on preventive care, vaccinations, deworming, and regular cleaning, but these costs can eat into profits. Another challenge is the high startup investment. Building spacious aviaries, buying balanced feed, and hiring skilled caretakers require significant capital. And because it takes years for males to grow their full ornamental tails, the wait for maximum returns can feel endless. The market stays fragile. Demand depends on luxury sectors like fashion, tourism, and interior design. When those cool off, prices for peafowl and feathers can fall fast. Laws add pressure as well. In India, the blue peacock holds protected status as the national bird, so trade can be restricted or even illegal. Farmers abroad must follow permits and international rules or face heavy penalties. Even with that, the outlook looks strong. Buyers in Southeast Asia, the Gulf, and Europe keep growing each year. Some analysts project 5 to 7% annual growth. Farms adapt with smart ideas, eco-parks that welcome visitors and fund conservation, precision incubation that lifts hatch rates, and selective breeding that builds tougher, higher-value flocks. Play the long game and peafowl become more than livestock. They carry heritage into modern business. Feathers, event rentals, global sales, and ecotourism open many doors. So, what do you think? Luxury niche or the rise of sustainable agriculture? Drop a comment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more.